Hi students, 12th standard computer science chapter 3 scoping. So in this lesson today we are going to learn about what is scope and then what is module. Now let us know scope. Scope means it is visibility of variable parameters and functions in one part of program to another part of a same program. So in other words, we can say your part of program we can use or use it. Which part you want. We can use any part of the program. So that is called scope. So once again I repeat, scope means it is called a visibility of program. Now the next one is variable scope. What is variable scope? So scope means we know that it is visibility of variable parameters and functions. Now what is variable scope? So variable scope means they are addresses to an object in memory. That is either reference or pointer. We can say reference or pointer. So they are addressed to an object in memory. So we can that is a reference or pointer. The next one is when you assign the variable with a name, we need to use this symbol. So then you are binding the variable to that instance, or we are going to mapping the variable. So next, multiple variables can be mapped to the same instant. So for the same instant means here we can call it as a variable. So we can assign multiple variables to the same instance. Now let us see what is mapping. So mapping. So here mapping means it is a process of binding variable name with an object. So to bind variable name with an object. So we can bind the variable with the object is called mapping. So for mapping we are going to use the equal sign. Equal sign is used in programming language to map the variable and object. So if you want to map the variable and object means we can use the equal symbol. The next one is namespace. What is namespace? So namespaces are containers for mapping names of variable to the object. So we can map the variable to the object. For example, dictionaries containing a list of words and its meanings. So the words are mapped with their meaning in dictionaries, whereas the names are mapped with the object in programming language. So the name and then object, so mapped with, the name is mapped with object. So this is called namespace. Now let us see the simple example for mapping. So A is equal to 5 and B is equal to A. So here just we are going to store the 5 value in A and then to skip the same B is equal to A. So what value in A? We can store the same value in B also. Now, so after mapping, after changing the value of A. So now how we are going? This is a simple example. Just first to assign a variable and then map A variable to B. Now next one is just we are going to assign A is equal to 5 and B is equal to A, then A is equal to 3. So after changing the value of A, what value is stored in A and B? The first one is A value is 5, then A value 5 and then we can change the A value to B. So B is equal to 5. After that we need to assign A value is 3. So this is the process of mapping. The next one is module. So module means it is part of the program. Then programmers are composed of one or more independently developed modules. So the programmers are composed, we can compose one or more independent modules. And then next, a single module can contain one or several statements closely related to each other. So a single module can contain one or more statements. So it is closely each other. And then modules work perfectly on individual level and can be integrated with other modules. So we can integrate it with other modules. So here integrated means just to combine or join. So we can integrate it with other modules, and then a software program can be divided into module to ease the job of programming and debugging as well as. So when we use a module concept, we can easily solve the error debugging. Here debugging means error. We can easily solve the error and then we can easily process with the program. So the software program can be divided into module because it is easy to for programming language, and as well as we can debug the errors also. So debug easily. So a program can be divided into a small functions module so that work together to get the output. So when we divide the program, we can work with a small functions, function modules, and then we'll get output. Then the process of subdividing a computer program into a separate sub-programs are called modular programming. So when we divide a program into small sub-program, that is called modular programming. And then, so modular programming enables a programmer to divide up the work and then debug pieces of program independently. So the examples of modules are procedures, subroutines and functions. So the examples of modules are called procedure, subroutine and function. So already we know that function means we can divide a program into subprogram and then subroutine also. So the subroutines, procedure, functions are called as like example of modules. Now let us see the characteristics of module. So the next one is characteristics of module. So the first characteristic is a module contains instruction, processing logic and data. And then module can be separately compiled and stored in a library. And then module can be included in a program. So program means a small division. Can divide a program into small modules. So modules can be included in a program also. The next, the module segments can be used by invoking a name and some parameters. So when we use a module segment, how we are going to use when we invoke a name and parameters. Next, module segments can be used by other modules. So we can use by other modules also. So these are all the characteristics. So it contains instruction, processing logic and data, and then each module separately compiled and stored in library, and then module can be included in a program, and then a module segment can be used by invoking a name and some parameters, and the next some module segments can be used by other modules. Benefits for using modular programming. So here we are going to use a less code to be written. We use only a less code, and then a single procedure can be developed for reuse. So eliminating the need of retyping the code many times. Then programs can be designed more easily because a small team deals with only a small part of the entire code. So when we need to check the error or we need to check the program means we can check with a particular part in the entire program. Then modular programming allows many programmers to collaborate on the same application. So next, the code is stored and across multiple files. We can store the code across a multiple file, and then code is very short and simple and then easy to understand. Errors can be easily identified, and then the same code can be used in many applications. So in many various applications, we can use the same code, and then the scope of variable can be easily controlled. So we can control the code very easily. So these are all the benefits of modular programming. So once again I repeat, module means we can divide a program into a small part, that is called, we can call it as modules, procedure, subroutines and functions also. Then the process of subdividing a computer program into a separate subprogram are called modular programming. And then characteristics of modular program, it contains instruction, processing logic, data, and then modules can be separately compiled and stored. We can include in our program also, and it can be used by other modules. Benefits of modules: less code can be used, and a single procedure can develop for reuse. And then program designs are very easy, and it allows many programmers. Codes are stored across multiple files. It is very short, simple and easily identified. Same codes are used in multiple applications, and scoping of variables can be controlled easily. Thank you, students.